Sometimes you run into a question like, do I let a student turn in an assignment late to show compassion, or do I take the tough love approach to make sure that this student is learning about deadlines and responsibility? Or you might be wondering, should I follow this interesting topic that came up in class organically, or should I stick to my lesson plan and finish it by the bell? And the answer to this type of question is, it depends. My name is Roxana Eldon. I run an online program for teachers called the Maintain and Stay Sane program. And one of the mental images that I've found really helpful over the years is this idea of adjusting your dials. Teaching-related judgment calls can sometimes feel like these high-stakes pop quizzes with right or wrong answers. It's easy to frame something as good or bad, but often being a teacher is like being a sound engineer at a concert. You're staring down at this mixing board full of dials and levers. Each of the controls brings you closer to one of two opposing characteristics, and either of those characteristics could be a good quality in a teacher. So for example, one dial might twist back and forth between patience and sense of urgency. Both of these can be great qualities in a teacher, but it's very hard to demonstrate both at the same time. Another control might adjust the balance between consistency and flexibility, helping you decide whether to stick to the rules or make an exception for a special case. Another lever might slide back and forth along the spectrum of efficiency versus thoroughness. You feel you should explain a concept better, but you also need to finish your lesson by the time the bell rings. As a teacher, you're constantly making small adjustments to these dials. Any of these knobs can be turned in the wrong direction, but they can also be turned so far in the right direction that the right direction becomes the wrong direction. You're constantly navigating between extremes. And sometimes you don't know you've turned a dial too far until some painful feedback comes screeching out. Another thing about this is that often when people get teaching advice, the reason it all sounds so good and the reason it can make you feel so bad is because many of your teaching decisions can be framed with a sense of moral baggage. The same decision could be framed as, are you just going to ignore a student in need? Or are you just going to let them walk all over you? All of those kind of pits what could be good advice against your decision that may not have been completely wrong. It just may have been in a direction of a competing priority. So what is the best approach to making these decisions in real time? First of all, it's very important to recognize something as a scenario where you need to adjust a dial. It's easy to frame something as good or bad, but often we need a way to move the moral chess piece off a specific side of the board. At least if you know that this is a dial adjusting decision, then you know you're not navigating between right and wrong so much as looking for the right balance in the moment. I break down all 6 of the most common pieces of classroom management advice in my free classroom management troubleshooting guide, which you can find linked in the description below this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.